First we're going to do a video on the legs. So 3 exercises in this program: squats, split squats and sissy squats. First is the squat. Place the band under the board. Go sit in the squat position. Place the rubber bands on your shoulders. Position your legs that they're evenly matched. And from there, go up. With the squats, you're training your quads and your hamstrings. What you want is to look either straight forward or a little bit up, so your back is a little bit arched. So you're not hunching like this, but standing straight up. Don't go all the way up, keep your knees a little bit bent. Second exercise is the split squat. With the split squat, you train a little bit more your hamstrings than the squat, and a little bit more upper part of your quads. What you do is, the setup is exactly the same as the squat. Go stand, place one foot in the middle of the board and take one step backwards. Find your right balance and lower your leg. You want to have this in almost a 90-degree angle. Don't go too far forward, don't go too far back, but almost near 90 degrees. Touch with your other leg the knee a little bit on the floor and go down. And try to push from your heel, not from your toe, but from your heel. When you finish, wait 1 minute and do the same for the other leg. Next exercise is the sissy squat. Sissy squat really trains only the front of your legs. It's actually a good substitute if you train at home for the leg extension. It's not a good substitute if you have a leg extension, but as soon as you're training at home, it's one of the best. It's a complicated exercise. It can be a dangerous exercise, and it looks more like a circus trick than an exercise, but it's very good. What you want to do when you don't know exactly how it works is to hold yourself in your opening of your door. Go stand on your toes. Let your upper body hang a little bit and move with your knees forward. If it starts to feel uncomfortable, you go back. And then you go down again and go back. As soon as you feel that you get a little bit more comfortable, you can go lower. And down. Next part is to hold it a little bit lower and go a little bit lower. Stop at the bottom position, slowly go up. Do not bounce the bottom position. Never do this with no exercise, but especially with the sissy squat not. you can do this comfortably 10 times, going as low as this.
Yeah.
Next part is exercise for training. So you use one of your heaviest bands, wrap it around the door handle, and from here you're going to stabilize yourself what normally you did in the door opening. You're going to stabilize yourself with the rubber bands, and then again practice. Every time a little bit further, until once upon you can go as deep as this and go back. What you want to try is to have at least tension on the rubber bands as possible. As soon as you can do this for 10 times, go use a lighter band. When you use the lighter band, it seems logic that the exercise becomes more difficult, because the problem is that you can't really balance yourself. If you're going to fall, you're going to fall in slow motion, and this is something you don't want to do. So again, when you start the exercise, start all over again with every time go a little bit further and further, until you can really go as deep as you can. And try not to hold too much tension on the bands. Every time you do it, try to have at least tension as possible. Just hold it with the least tension as possible, so you get stronger in your legs and more able to do the exercise correctly. So now for the chest. For the chest I have two exercises in this program, and the first one is the chest press. You hold the rubber bands like this, double over under, and put your hands like this with your thumbs sticking out. Put it around your shoulders, a little bit lower, because you don't want when it goes up that it goes into your neck. Get the top of your back a little bit under the shoulders. From here you start pushing. From out to in. You can either straight forward, push a little bit down, or push a little bit up. It's all about how you feel the exercise. With this exercise, you train your chest, your shoulders, and your triceps. So, 3 for the price of 1. You push from here and push in to really contract the chest muscles. Second chest exercise is the press crossover. What you do actually is exactly the same setup as the press. Instead of just pressing it forwards and go back, you press it forward and cross your arms. You can, if you want to, cross the right one over, next repetition the left one over, but it doesn't make much difference. So if you want to do every time the same, do that. And if you want to mix it up, cross it the other way around. And try, when you pass, really squeeze the chest muscles. Next comes the shoulders. For the shoulders we have an overhead press and a lateral raise. Place the band under the board, place it all the way in the back, and I use a single, not double folded, but a single. And why like this? Because now I have more chance to change the resistance. So the closer I am together, the more easy it gets, and the stronger I get, the lower I can keep it, and with the same band make the exercise harder during the weeks, because of course you want to be stronger. So what you want is to hold it, start at the same point, and remember that point. To see it like this, you can hold it on shoulder length, you can hold it on chest length. So the stronger you are, the lower you're going to hold it. And the stronger you are, the higher you're going to hold it anyway in the beginning. So start with a band that you can use on shoulder height. Hold it like this, with your thumb around the band, push it up, and a little bit towards each other. And try to keep your elbows a little bit out, not too far, but especially not to the back. There's less stress on the shoulder at the moment. So you want to have it straight up as possible. Go down, not too low, to here. So the arms are a little bit towards 90 degrees angle, and it on a straight plane. Push up, go down, up, down. Here comes the little trick, and don't tell this to anybody, but it's a little trick. When you feel that you misjudged the band, or that they are not as strong as the last time, no worries. When you feel that you did not reach your amount of repetitions, move your elbows in there. From this moment on, you still have at least 2 to 3 repetitions extra. Same goes when you misjudged the repetitions and you still have to do a slow negative. Go down, place your elbows in, push it up, and then start your negative. Overhead press, you're training your shoulders, especially to the front, but also the side, and the triceps, and a little part of the upper part of your chest. Second exercise for shoulders is a side lateral. The side lateral really focuses on the side, lateral side of your shoulder. You can do it either with a single band, and what you want is not to go all the way back, because you can see here there's absolutely no tension on the band. So when you do a single, don't go further than this part. Keep tension on the muscle. Move up, hold it here, and go down. What you want is your elbow or at the same height as your hand, or a little bit up. A little bit up is not necessary, but it's always better than here. As soon as you start moving like this, it becomes more a front deltoid exercise. And for this we have other exercises, So what you want is this movement. As soon as you notice that the band is too light for you and you don't have a band that is a little bit more heavy, a little bit stronger, and what you can do is grab it double, and to start with, have your hands like this. So your thumbs around, and grab it with your hand. And from there, do the movement. When you reach the amount of repetitions that you can do, and still you do not have a band that is a little bit more heavy, and what you do is, instead of holding it, the band in your hand, you do the exact opposite and put it on your hand. That way you win about 1 inch, 1.5 inch, and the exercise comes, of course, harder. For the back exercises, I'm going to show you 3 different exercises. The row, a pull down, and a deadlift. The row, I'm going to show you 2 different versions. First version is the seated one. For this, you want to have a door anchor. Put it firmly. If there's a possibility, lock the door. You do not want to have the door swing open, because one of your family, your relatives, or your little child open the door from the other side. Hello, daddy, and he smacks you in the face. The first part is the most important part, and that's the setup. The setup is important, the height of the anchor. You want to start with already a good tension on the back, so that's why I'm seated a little bit further. You can use, of course, everything that just makes you go further from the anchor. And what you want is a straight line, pull back. And with the rubber bands, do not go all the way back, because as you see, there's no tension anymore on the bands, and this is what you want. You want to keep constant tension on your back muscles. With this exercise, you train your back, and when you're holding your hands in a neutral position, thumbs up, you train also the outside of your biceps and the forearms. Always keep your legs a little bit bent, don't go too straight, because if you go too heavy, you can fold your legs the wrong way around and have a very big accident. Arch your back a little bit, shoulders back, pull, hold. You can always change position of your hands, and with this your biceps help also, and also get a very good training. But for now, we keep it neutral. Second version of the back row is the bent over row that works the same muscles, but also puts tension on your hamstrings, as you will notice. You can do it either double, or of course also a single. It all depends on how strong you are and what rubber bands you are using at the moment. Because then with your legs slighter Then shoulder width, you keep a nice balance and your arms can move freely next to them. Arch your back, your legs a little bit bent. This is what I'm talking about, that you also use your hamstrings in this position in a static way, but you're using them. Up. And exactly the same, pull up, hold it. Another option is to use a bar. You can use, of course, a real bar when you use 4 weights, but why spend $100, $50 when you can buy a metal pipe for 5? You wrap it around. Make sure at this moment that the tension is the same. When you're holding the start position of the exercise, that the tension is the same. Adjust it a little bit if necessary. Keep it like this if it's good. From there you can hold either the outside of the rubber bands or the inside of the rubber bands. And of course, you can also use a under grip and engage more your biceps. Okay, another exercise is the deadlift. Stand on the board, or you go, of course, stand on rubber bands. I prefer a board, it's a bit more stable, and you always have the same space where the rubber bands are. Same as the row. Stabilize, but you have the same tension on the left side or the right. What you do is bend your knees straight forward, brace your back, look or straight up, or straight forward, or a little bit up. And from there, you go stand. Do not stand all the way up. Makes no sense, because at this moment there's no tension on the back or the legs. Slightly bent. Go back. Up. With this exercise, you're training your whole back, the top of your trapezius, the middle of your trapezius, and your lower back, and in some degree your hip muscles, your hamstrings, and the more you use your legs, also the quads. When you purely train for your back, and in this workout it is actually why I put it in there, do not go all the way down. From this part to this part is almost all legs and hips. So stop here, just above your knees, and go up. So the next back exercise is the pull down. The pull down, you train your lats, your biceps, forearms. And if you train in your house and you have only doors to work with the door anchor, I'm going to do it seated down. And if there's a possibility that you have some high attachment,
you can do also standing up. But in this case I show you with the door anchor. So you go sit down, you brace yourself against the door because you do not want to pull yourself up. Especially when you're getting stronger and stronger, that's a big possibility. And then you have to weigh yourself down to stay grounded. But in this case, we're not so strong yet, so no problems. From here, you start pulling. And when you're in this position, squeeze your shoulder blades together and your back to get a little bit more contraction. Keep your back always a little bit arched when you pull it. That way you contract the back muscles a little bit more. Next exercises are for arms, your biceps, your triceps and your forearms. First exercise I'm going to show you is the triceps extensions. If you want the door anchor on the top position, the bands either double or single, depends on how strong you are and what band you're using. Go stand in this position. Brace yourself with your lower back towards the wall. Brace your feet. So do not train, that's also a tip, do not train on your socks. Either on shoes that has a firm grip or on your bare feet. Your grip is very important, well, actually with all exercises. You do not want to slip away. So you brace yourself. At this moment there's already tension on the rubber bands and on my triceps. And from here, I'm going to straighten your arms. You can either do it with your thumbs up or as a regular press down with your palms down. You want your upper arms to stay still. You do not want to move them backwards or forwards. Keep them still, maybe tight to your body, that you keep them more stable. And straighten your arms. Okay, now for the biceps. Place the bands or double on the plate. What I always do personally, I put the bands all the way as far back as possible and I'm going to stand as much to the front as possible. This way I have more tension on my biceps. So when I'm in the top position I have full, and in the bottom position it's still pulling on my biceps. When you have it straight, when you have it in the stretch position or almost, there's not much tension anymore, there's no pulling. It's just pulling straight down. And when I go stand a little bit to the front, there's still a pulling to the back. So there's always tension on the biceps, even if it's almost stretched.
So as you can see, the band is all the way to the back, and I go stand as far to the front as possible.
So even in this position you see it still pulling back, and if I had it straight down, there's not much pull anymore other than pulling me straight to the ground.
Another small tip
is when the bands are a little bit too heavy for you
to do it this way. One stand. Place the board like this, and the tension becomes a little less.
and you can even make it a little bit harder because you can go a little bit more to the front.
Now, last exercise for arms is for the forearms.
It's actually the reverse of a curl. You do reverse, when you reverse, it's actually how you hold your hands. For your biceps, you want to keep your hands with the palms up, and for your forearms, with your palms down or slightly bent. What you do with the curl, like this, for your forearms, move the other way with your palms down.
Next exercise is for calves.
For calves you want to have the attachment. A board where you go stand on, and of course the rubber bands. Place the bands equally. Go stand on the board. Brace yourself. And with slow movement, you do your calves.
And as you grow stronger, and this goes for the calves and for the deadlifts, some other exercises
It's going to hurt your hands. For this, you can use the bar.
the bar you have less problem with the grip, because the rubber bands can, when you get stronger, really hurt your inner hands.
So exactly the same. And now you have a more comfortable grip. And when you go up, try to go, when you're already up, try to for 1 second go a little bit higher. I know that's not possible, but try it. Go down, go up, and try to get a little bit higher. Go down, up, and a little bit higher.